Hello everyone! Today I'm going to show you how I mixed the colors for this painting behind me here. You're going to see what colors I used, the limited palette that I chose to be using for that, and also how I combine my colors, how I mix them in order to harmonize the whole painting and in order to harmonize the whole color scheme that I planned for my painting. So if you'd like to see that, stay tuned. Right, so I'm going to start from this here. That's titanium white, permanent rose or Rowney rose, magenta made by Norma Schmink. Love this color. This here is like a cadmium red or pyrrole. I use pyrrole red. It's just a warm red. Any of warm red would do fine for this. This is burnt sienna. I like the Winsor Newton burnt sienna because it's more like a red oxide. It's translucent, it's beautiful. This here is just primary yellow. This is chromium oxide green. Love this as well for painting in nature. And I've got ultramarine blue here. That's my palette. That's just, all the colors that I used for the whole painting. So I'm going to start mixing white. Put the white here. Maybe some there. With this red. I'm going to match the colors that I used yesterday because I've run out of it. So I need to continue the painting. So I keep working on the same palette and I can see what colors I used. So I can kind of match them again. Okay, so that's one. Then I'm going to mix a lighter shade. I should have mixed more of this actually, so I'm just mixing more. Just this red and the magenta should be fine. So this is a warm red, this is a cool kind of pink red. So I like combining them for this painting here because one compensates the other. In terms of temperatures, it's not too orange and not too purpley. This here I had some white. I had some white just lying around here, so I can just add it. More white, a big chunk of white. Then take some of this. Then add more of this red and the magenta to darken it. That's a good shade. A bit more. And then again, take some off. This time I'm going to use this. It's good for deeper areas. If I didn't have that one, I would probably keep using this here. Maybe a bit of alizarin crimson as well. But I've got it, so I just want to use it and see what possibilities I can create by using them. So this is good for deep areas. I had a very deep color here, so I'm going to use this with a little bit of the chromium oxide green. So that's my deepest shade. Might make this one go a little bit darker actually. Here we go. Okay, so that's one lot done. So then I'm going to mix the grains. So I use this here straight from the tube. I love this color because of that convenience, and it's opaque. It's a beautiful, beautiful green. Very rarely I use any other green straight from the tube. This one is the one, kind of old master's color. So then I mix a tone of white with this here for my lighter shade. When I mix this green with white, it just creates this beautiful cool green, light green. And I love it. I use that a lot. It's very simple to mix. Okay, so then maybe one in between. So we got a few shades going on here. Then another thing that I like doing, actually I need more of that green. Where is it? So get a little bit more out of this tube. So I like mixing the burnt sienna with it. It just creates that beautiful warm green shade. I love it. We see a lot of burnt sienna in nature. Trunks, branches and the soil, the dirt. Some leaves are brownish, so I quite like this here, this combination. So then, if I want a darker, deeper green, I use ultramarine blue. I might just mix it here. And I combine burnt sienna. You can find this chromium oxide green in several brands. It's quite a common color. Winsor & Newton, Norma, Schmink, Archival. I like Archival because it dries fast and it's very concentrated. It's got a lot of pigment and also it's quite thick buttery paint. So I really like it for the palette knife. So here we mix this. So the chromium oxide, a little bit of the burnt sienna in ultramarine blue. I just mix them. I don't even need to mix it thoroughly. I like when the colors are like this here. I can see streaks of the pure colors. That's the starting point. Now, the fun part is this. I combine this palette with this here to create some grayish colors, some cooler versions of the pink. And that's how I harmonize my colors throughout my painting. With reflected colors, I use the chromatic grays. We call them chromatic grays. Chroma is the same as color, so they are colored grays. And they are great colors to reflect on the petals, on the flowers. It's like, the green from the background reflecting on the subject. So then I just take some kind of similar values here, light, I mix with the light pink. And, the darker pink, I use the green just as it is from the tube, so I can tone it down a bit. And I can create variations of this, different colors by adding more or less green. And that's the same here. If I want that to be a little bit gray, I just use this. And so on. So that's how I harmonize them. I used this gray here on the background, and I did the same way, for my grays, I usually use the colors that are on my subject. Either background, if I have the leaves, I have the flowers, I'll find a way to combine them. These ones here, that happen to be complementary colors, but if they weren't, I would still mix them together plus a complement color to gray it down. So for this, I'd go straight to here. Maybe possibly use the pink, a bit of this, and then the green. See, that gives me a very dark shade, but I also need to use a little bit of white because that's what makes it grayish. I mean, it's the combination of the two opposites plus the white. And then it depends on what I want, what color temperature, color bias. I could have a warmer version or I could have just a cooler version of it. So it depends what I want. So I might leave a pile of the green here because I like varying from cool to warm and vice versa. So I just leave them there. So here's the area that I used those grays, the grays that you see here. So I used some of the grays here, the greenish grays for the reflections to harmonize the colors throughout my painting. And you can see the same down here, reflected on this rose and all the other roses you see on the painting. And then I had this here for the white flowers. When it's white flowers amongst all the greenery, the leaves, I like using a bit of the green combined with white for the shadows, for the dark areas and even the highlights. And I can pick the pink from here. See, so the palette is all connected in a way. So that's one. I might just use a bit of yellow here just to warm it up a bit. That's it. And then I remember that I had one here a bit lighter with more yellow, not a touch of green. So I can just put them together. That's close enough. Ooh, nice and buttery. So then I go with this here, more green. Oh, I'm just taking all this green. I have to mix some more. Then maybe I could either take from here or here. I might just go here. So then more of that green. Could leave the color like this as well. Color temperature variation. So maybe 2 different color bias, so color tendency. That's the green version, that's the more pinky version. And then I'm probably fine. If I want any light, I don't like to use pure white. You know, I like a little bit of color in the white, even if it's a white flower. It's funny, isn't it? It's more about the shades of gray rather than using plain white. So that's okay. Probably too light me because those flowers are on the background. I don't want them to stand out much. So I might just reserve it here, keep it here, and see what I do with it. Yeah, so that's, I had something else here. I can't remember what that is. Maybe we just mix that again. Put some white here, a light green. I could actually take the green from here. Yeah, and then I just leave like that, a little bit of mixed. And then I mixed some yellow yesterday. I'm not sure if I need this yellow anymore, but that's just yellow and a touch of the green, a touch of burnt sienna, and then just more sienna and a bit of red here, and even more sienna and more green. All right, so yeah, I might just put a bit of this here. Remember that I had that color. Some parts I just used it straight from the tube. Sometimes it's with a little combination here, but you know, just see how it goes. That's the beauty of working with a palette knife. You can just mix some colors as you go. You don't really need to stick entirely to this. You can combine more, you can create more variations, and so on. So that's my palette, and then this is the work. I'm going to get back to painting. So I hope you enjoyed this video, that you can benefit from it, that you can use some of those tips on your painting to get better and better. If you would like to see more tutorials like this, check all the videos I have in my YouTube channel and consider subscribing to keep updated on new posts. If you would like more in-depth tutorials, check my website. You can click the link in the description area below this video. If you'd like to get some updates on my work and see what paintings I've been working, what techniques, you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook to see what I've been up to. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again. Happy painting!